section of agriculture science. Today we'll be talking about garden weeds. Weeds are plants found growing where they are not wanted. They are plants which are not usually cultivated by farmers and are found growing among cultivated crops. Some of the characteristics of weeds are: weeds produce many seeds. This makes them spread easily. Weeds have very high ability to multiply. They can withstand adverse conditions as a result of their tough protective. Weeds have high competitive and aggressive growth habits and easily smother crops if not controlled on time. Examples are the elephant grass, the guinea grass that can run over crops in the farm. Weeds can suppress the growth of crops on the farm because of their ability to grow fast, and thereby reducing their development and yield. Weeds serve as alternative hosts to pests and disease organisms that could affect cultivated crops. Weeds reduce the quality of farm produce, thereby reducing the quality of market value of crops. Weeds compete with crops for water, light, and mineral nutrients. Weeds with broad leaves overshadow the crops from direct light intensity and in turn reduces photosynthesis. Some of the weeds like waterleaf and amaranthus have medicinal values. Some weeds produce toxic substances which are harmful to crops, thereby leading to the death of the crops. Some of the weeds are edible by both man and other animals. Weeds are very persistent and can defy most control measures. They can regrow from seeds, broken stolons, or rhizome, and this supports their persistence. Some weeds, when they decay, help to enrich the soil, thereby increasing the value of the land as well as the quantity and quality of produce. Some of these weeds are used for mulching, that is, to cover the soil from excessive sunlight and to protect the soil from excessive rainfall to reduce erosion. Mulching also helps to regulate the soil temperature. Now, the methods of weed dispersal. The structure of some weed seeds enable their distribution by wind. Such features as being winged, having parachute make them easily carried by the wind. Examples of weeds dispersed by wind are Tridac's procumbens and goatweed. Weed seeds can be carried by moving water such as surface runoffs, streams, irrigation and drainage water. The seeds are able to float on water. Example of weed dispersed by water is pigweed. Animals also help in weed dispersal. For instance, weeds that have hooks can be distributed by animals with hairy body because such weeds can attach themselves to the hair of the animals. Man can transport weed seeds over long distances as a result of movement of agricultural seeds, foodstuffs, nursery stock. Some weeds could cling to the bodies of farmers and are deposited elsewhere. Some of the control measures of weeds include the mechanical or physical method. The pulling of weeds by hand in the farm is though efficient but only useful in small gardens. Flooding is done by keeping the area to be weeded flooded up to 20 cm of water for 3 to 8 weeks. This practice kills the weeds because they can no longer receive air for respiration. The short or small hoe is very useful in weeding. It is used to cut the weed below the crown of the plant, which gives complete destruction of the shoot system. It is effective in the control of weeds either in pasture, home garden, or row crops. Mowing helps to prevent seed production in all classes of weeds. It removes all weed growth, especially where weeds are too much for effective cultivation to take place. Weeds can be controlled by the use of mulch materials such as paper, hulls from rice, manure, plastic materials, or cellophane. These materials help to exclude sunlight and prevent shoot growth. The weeds then become exfoliated and die off. Now, the cultural method of weed control. Burning of farmland. The burning of farmland kills weed parts, seeds, fruits, both in the soil and on the surface of the soil. Now, tillage. Tillage, which is the turning of the soil surface, helps to expose weed parts for destruction either by sunlight or use of herbicides. They can also be hand-picked and destroyed. Early planting. The planting of crops earlier ensures that the crops are well established before the weeds start growing. And the proper spacing of crops helps in the reduction of weed growth. The biological method involves the use of living plants and animals to control weeds. The use of suppressive plants that grow fast and large can also be used to overshadow weeds, thereby reducing their growth. Some of these crops include groundnuts. The use of insects involves the use of identified insect pests of weeds in controlling weeds on the farm. Insects which have been found to feed on a particular weed can be multiplied and introduced to the area to feed and destroy such weed species. Pasturing. This involves the grazing of farm animals on weeds, usually in plantations such as rubber and oil palm. Animals like cattle, sheep, or goats are commonly used in this method. The chemical method is the use of chemicals in the control of weeds. These chemicals are known as herbicides. The selective herbicides are chemicals that can kill certain group or species of plant. They can be used in cereals, sugarcane, to reduce weeds. The non-selective herbicides are herbicides that can kill any plant they come in contact with. Examples of such non-selective herbicides are the arsenicals, the chlorates. Some precautions to be taken when using herbicides. They include: it should not be allowed to touch the body either during mixing or use. It should be kept away from food or sleeping rooms. Do not eat or drink when using herbicides. Always put on protective coverings such as hand gloves, overall, and rubber boots before using herbicides. Scientific name of some grasses include the Mimosa invisa, the Sporobolus pyramidalis, Imperata cylindrica, Centrosema pubescens, Eleusine indica, the Cynodon dactylon, the Panicum maximum, Penicetum purpureum, the Axonopus compressus. We have come to the end of this session, and I do hope you have learned something new. Do have a wonderful time. Bye bye.